People chase five-figure watches to impress, but the real compliment magnets are often hiding under $1,000, sometimes as low as $50. The Casio A158 gets you surprised looks with its iconic retro style, and the Seiko Cocktail Time can spark the same wow factor as a luxury Swiss dial. If an affordable watch can turn more heads than a Rolex, what is really driving that reaction? Here is where the science of watch compliments turns everything upside down. The Casio A158 is not just a cheap digital watch, it is a retro iconic watch that gets noticed everywhere. That shiny rectangular face and classic blue frame are straight out of the 80s and 90s, and people spot it instantly. It is the kind of watch you remember from old yearbook photos, TV reruns, and street-style shots. The best part, it is usually under $50, but strangers will still ask about it. The A158 packs a stopwatch, a daily alarm, an auto calendar, and an LED light, all in a slim, featherweight case. The A168 steps it up with that glowing electroluminescent backlight. Press the button and the whole screen lights up with that unmistakable Casio green-blue. It is not just nostalgia, it is the fact that the Casio shape looks intentional, not accidental. Pair it with jeans or a blazer and people assume you picked it on purpose. That is why it gets compliments from people who have no idea about watches. They just know it looks cool and familiar. Swinging from retro to traveler vibes, the Timex QGMT brings a whole different kind of attention. This is a watch that lets you track 2 time zones, with a classic 2-tone bezel and a steel bracelet that looks way more expensive than its price tag of $229. The QGMT is a direct throwback to the 1970s, with that Pepsi-style bezel and a domed crystal that catches the light just right. The 38mm size hits the sweet spot for most wrists, and the applied markers and polished hands sparkle through the crystal. This is the watch that pops up in style roundups and Instagram feeds, so people notice it, even if they are not watch people. And when someone asks about the extra hand or the colorful bezel, you have a story to tell: travel, time zones, or just loving the look. Both the Casio and the Timex QGMT prove that the first thing people react to is the dial and the overall shape. Color, shine, and a familiar silhouette are what get noticed first. That is the real compliment formula, and it works whether you are spending $50 or $200. Next up, watches that turn heads with dial texture and dressy finishing. Dress watches can pull compliments with nothing but a dial and a little light. The Seiko Presage Cocktail Time, especially the SRPB 43, is a perfect example. It has a 40.5mm case, just under 12mm thick, and runs on Seiko 4R35 automatic movement with a 41-hour power reserve. But that is not why people ask about it. The real magic is the dial. A pressed radial pattern explodes like sunbeams from the center, coated in high-gloss lacquer that flashes from icy blue to silver depending on the angle. Under a domed hardlex crystal, the whole thing acts like a tiny disco ball for your wrist. Applied indices and sharp Dauphine hands catch the light, and the effect is so dramatic that even in a dim restaurant, someone across the table will notice the dial sparkle and ask, "What is that Seiko cocktail inspiration?" Is not just marketing. These dials are designed to look like the surface of a fancy drink under bar lights. And because Seiko has been making dress watches for decades, people assume the price is way higher than the usual $425 sticker. It is classic, but with enough flash to feel special. If you want a dress watch that gets noticed, this is a proven compliment magnet. Now, if you want the same domed crystal elegance for even less, Orient Bambino is the ultimate cheat code. Most Bambinos come in around 40.5mm, with a domed mineral crystal and a sunburst or glossy dial that glows in daylight. You get applied indices, a real automatic movement, and a case that hugs the wrist, usually for well under $250, sometimes closer to $150 if you catch a sale. The Bambino is all about vintage vibes, a slim bezel, curved glass, and a dial that looks like it belongs on a much pricier watch. People see that domed crystal peeking from a shirt cuff and just assume you spent more. Vintage vibes sell quick one, If you want more best watches under $X lists and honest value picks, hit like and subscribe. And comment your wrist size plus budget so I can make the next one specific. Textured dials and domed crystals prove you do not need a big brand or a big budget to get real wow, nice watch reactions. Next up, watches that turn heads with enthusiast details and tool watch cred. Baltic Aquascaphe stands out among micro-brand divers by blending vintage cues with modern execution. The 39mm case, slim domed sapphire crystal, and matte dial with gilt or cream accents recall classic tool watches. Crisp case bevels and a coin edge bezel add refinement. The beads of rice bracelet, usually seen on pricier models, sits low and comfortable, giving the watch a presence that feels intentional and quietly luxurious. At around €600, the Aquascaphe draws nods from collectors and casual fans alike. Its sharp lines and old-school diver silhouette catch the light, and up close, every detail feels deliberate. It signals taste without shouting. Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical channels military history with a 38mm brushed steel case, bold numerals, and a no-nonsense dial layout. Powered by the H50 hand wound movement, it offers an 80-hour power reserve and a sapphire crystal, plus 50 meters of water resistance. There is no date, just time, pure field watch DNA. The slim profile, under 10mm, fits almost any wrist, and drilled lugs make strap changes effortless. At about $600 new, often less pre-owned, the Khaki Field feels like a watch with a story. Its clean, purposeful look earns respect from people who know watches, not just brands. Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 is the accessible icon of integrated bracelet style. The 40mm steel case flows into a quick-release bracelet, while the tapisserie pattern dial plays with light. Inside, the Powermatic 80 movement delivers an 80-hour reserve. The PRX wears thin and hugs the wrist, looking far pricier than its sub-$1,000 price tag. Even the quartz version keeps the same silhouette. The integrated bracelet and sharp finishing draw complements, and people often guess it costs triple the price. Citizen Tsuyosa brings color to the table. This 40mm automatic pops with sunburst dials in yellow, turquoise, green, and blue. The integrated style bracelet and rounded case feel modern and playful. Priced around $380, the Tsuyosa wears comfortably and stands out for its dial colors and applied indices. It is a watch that feels current, fun, and smartly chosen. Swiss watches have a reputation for prestige, but you do not need a five-figure budget to play in that league. There is a way into real Swiss-made credibility for under $1,000 if you know how to shop. Take Longines. The Hydro Conquest, especially in quartz, can be found in mint condition around $900 if you look at pre-owned or trusted gray market sellers. That is a full-on Swiss diver with a ceramic bezel and applied markers, the kind of watch that feels substantial and looks serious. You will see it on wrists in boardrooms and at weddings, but you can land it for less than you would pay for some new microbrands. Frédéric Constant Slimline is another smart move. These are classic dress watches, thin, clean, with applied indices and a discreet logo. Quartz models often land around €600, especially if you are open to leather straps and lightly used examples. The vibe here is all about quiet luxury, not flashy or loud, just well proportioned and genuinely Swiss. People who notice it tend to know watches, and that is where the best compliments come from. To get these prices, you need to play the game. Set your filters on Chrono24, or watch forums to very good or excellent condition. Look for full sets with box and papers, and check the seller's feedback. Do not be afraid to ask authorized dealers for a discount. 15 to 20% is common on brands like Longines and Frédéric Constant. If you are strict on budget, consider quartz versions. You get the same case, dial, and bracelet at a lower price, and the accuracy is unbeatable. Always check for sharp, real-world photos, a clear return policy, and sellers with a track record. If the price is way below market or the listing uses only stock images, walk away. For sizing, 38 to 40mm is the sweet spot. It looks intentional, fits most wrists, and reads as modern. Shopping smart is not just about saving money. It is about getting a watch that looks and feels like old money, with a story you can wear every day. Right now, watchmakers are packing serious design and innovation into watches under $1,000, proving great style is not about price, but perception. Compliments follow confidence and intent, not just a label. The real flex is wearing what sparks conversation, not comparison. Drop your favorite value watch below and join the discussion.